This is LTV.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisinsuranceagency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank, creates success, enterprisebanking.com.
Hello and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the city, and yes, we're live this afternoon as we are each and every Thursday. Yes, yes, yes. What a beautiful day it was, and lots to catch up on today. And starting with the fact that FEMA was out here today with MEMA, Mass Emergency Management, Federal Emergency Management, our city officials, our engineers, etc., assessing the damage. And as you know, we've been compiling the damage done from the flood a month ago, and for the last month we've been compiling damage done to people's property, to people's homes, to businesses, and now starts the actual official assessment of it all, and then a recommendation which goes back to the governor, and the governor then asks for a declaration of disaster. And it is a fairly lengthy process, but it is the process that we must go through. And I guess the only thing to ask right now at this point is patience. We do field a number of calls from businesses and from residents and landlords and tenants, and asking exactly, what the time frame is. And the answer to that is we don't know exactly, but it is a process and it does take time. So speaking of time, a guy who's got lots of time because, well, he's retired, and his focus can be on other things that matter. It's time for the Art Report.
Yes, it is. And I don't know if they matter or not, but some of them create a little bit of discussion. And a couple of them is, I don't know, I've never seen so many roads that have been paved, painted and finished looking so good in our city. Everywhere I go, it's new.
Good. Good.
Everything is crystal clear, and it's great to see that. Taxpayers, it's worthy and wealthy. The fact that we are keeping ahead of the old man time, I guess. Even the roads get tired. And I see Route 2 Hyundai's going through a major renovation down there.
Yeah.
I was in getting an oil change the other day, and they eliminated the drive-in tunnel where you'd leave your car, and they pushed that wall way out. Mm-hmm. It is huge inside.
Yeah, McGovern.
Yeah, now McGovern, correct.
Yeah. That purchased a lot of the...
And they're still pushing cars out of there like we buy hot dogs.
Yeah, remember at one time the Hyundais weren't looked to as favorable. They were made overseas, and now they've got pretty good track records according to Consumer Reports.
They have. When they first come out, they were a throwaway.
Right.
I mean, they had a lot of issues, et cetera.
Right.
And then as they kept growing and growing and growing, and their QC department obviously went to work, and I've had mine new since 2017.
Oh, yeah.
And it's only had one small issue, and it was covered under warranty.
Yeah.
So I can't complain.
No, it's remarkable.
In fact, that was this is my third one.
Mm.
And I recommend it to some folks on our street, and there's three of us that have them now. But they've got a good reputation, so
yeah.
You got to go where save a little bit here, save a little bit there.
Exactly.
But other than that, all is well. Like I
Good.
said, the road is.
Nice
I commented to the wife. I said, "Look at this. This is great."
Nice picture of you and your grandson on social media. Very nice picture.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll tell you what. That was. I went to the game and went down on the sidelines a little bit. I noticed that some of the parents were standing on the sidelines. So I'm going to go down there. And next thing I know, I hear, Papa, and I turn around. He's standing next to me. So I hit him in the shoulder, and I said, I want you to go out there and get in the mud there, buddy. He's 5'11". He's 15 years old. 5'11", 202.
Wow.
Doctor projects 6'4".
Wow.
So he goes out, and I went out of my mind. He was on defense, and they did a run. They're playing Roxbury High, and not only did he bring down the guy with the ball had a defender to his right running with him. He took him with him. He wrapped his arm around the two of them and brought them down.
Wow.
And then he recovered a fumble. So he had a good day of defense.
Well, you'll have to go to every game now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're going again. The next game is in Worcester.
You're the
We'll
good.
be going to that. It's a morning game, 10 o'clock.
You're the good luck charm.
Well, I don't know about that, but they got some good. They got one kid on that team. He's about 6'5".
Wow.
He's about 210.
Wow.
They got some size on it. And it's a good sport. You know, it's a good feeder division as well. He goes to Keith Tech in Framingham, and he's having a good time. He's an honor student, and that tickles my heart. He's smart, and he's extremely polite.
Mm.
He goes out of his way to yes sir, no sir, and he's no disrespect to anyone or anything.
Good.
You can't ask for more than that.
You learned them well.
Well, I'll tell you, and his father, you talk about stories. If you like having a coffee and listening to stories, he's a electrician in the Boston Unions, and he's rewiring the tunnels in Boston.
Mm.
And they're working in these crawl spaces, and they have visitors in there.
Oh, yeah. I
with
bet.
long, skinny tails.
Oof.
And concrete falling. They have to wear hard hats.
Oh, I bet.
I can't imagine. I said, no way.
No.
But he's working unbelievable hours.
Yeah, right. Of course.
7 days a week.
Yeah.
They were pushing to get the one of the tunnels done. They were working Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, right.
Hello, paycheck.
I know. Well, do it while you're young.
He's got a good trade, yes.
Do it while you're young.
Doing well. Doing well. And I'll thank you, and that's it. And keep
All
up
right.
the good work, everybody.
Thank you. All right. That was Art from the Art Report. And, well, we still got another 50 minutes left. And tomorrow is Friday the 13th. Are you guys superstitious back there? Are you guys superstitious at all? No?
It's very spooky. I'm not superstitious, though.
Well, planting the seed, though, so if you don't know about it, you don't think about it, and then it's just another day. But I'm planting the seed now so people can start thinking about it, right? Like, I'm not superstitious, but tomorrow's the 13th, and I wonder, you what if, right? You keep doing that.
It's my lucky day.
It's a lucky day for you, because what?
I got engaged.
You got on Friday the 13th?
Yeah.
So Scott, the director here at LTV, got engaged on the 13th. So there may be more happy stories. And so Mia says, no, I'm not
I met my wife on Friday the 13th also.
You what?
I went on my first date with my wife.
And you went on your first date on a Friday the 13th. Mia says she's not superstitious. No? All right, nobody is. All right, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Just don't cross a black hat on Halloween. You're fine.
All right, well, let's see that. So you are superstitious. What about breaking a mirror? Does that bother you? No. It does me.
Well, breaking anything is kind of just like, what's the point?
Right, but what about walking under a ladder? Are you superstitious?
No.
978-534-1626. If you'd like to call and chat, ask a question. And again, we spent the day with FEMA. I was out here. They'll be out here tomorrow. And we're showing them, it's one thing to get reports. It's another thing to actually be there and see it. And that's what this is all about, is the assessment of it all. Taking a short break, and we'll be right back. And we're back here inside Leominster. That was a view from Mount Washington, high atop Mount Washington. I guess I had us on share. If I share it and then don't, let's see. I might have to double share it here. I might have messed up here. I logged out. Let's see if we can double share it. Okay, we're gonna do. It is. It's on. It's on my. It's on my page. All right, we're back here, and we got a guest this afternoon. That was Mount Washington, from the. We got a call. Caller, welcome to the show.
Yes, Mr.
Welcome,
Mayor.
welcome, Mr. George.
Listen, those pictures were wonderful from Mount Washington. Incredible.
Breathtaking.
Yes.
Did you ever go up there?
Well, how high is it? 6,500 feet?
But you can go by car or bus, I guess.
We went up there back in the old days. We stayed at the Kangamangas area.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, Friday the 13th, you know why it's unlucky?
No, why?
It goes back to the Vikings. I'm reading right now. One source mentioned the unlucky number 13 is a Norse myth about 12 gods having dinner in Valhalla. The trickster god Loki, who was not invited, arrived at the 13 guests and arranged to shoot the leader of the band, almost like a gangster thing. That goes back to the Norse gods.
Wow.
That's where it comes from. That's what I walked on the ladders and fell down too.
Yeah. I've fallen off ladders. I didn't have to be under it. I could be on it.
Remember about the cracking? Walk across a crack, you make your mother's back or something.
You break your mother's back. Step on a crack, you break your mother's back.
But it comes from the Vikings.
The Vikings. Leave it to the Vikings.
Yeah, Minnesota never wins anyway. Who cares about it? Right?
Well, that's where Tara's from.
Minnesota.
She's from Duluth, Minnesota.
Oh, that's cold up there.
It's beautiful, though. And the times I've been out there, in the winter, it's not been bad at all. And, it was, I think when we left to head to the airport from Detroit Lakes, it was, I don't know, like 15 below zero. But if it's windy, that's the difference. In a regular cold day, it's cold is cold. It's when you add the wind to it. And if you get a sunny day,
the Great Lakes.
yeah, the Great Lakes, it's just beautiful out there. Just beautiful. But I wouldn't want to live there year round. I like it right here, but it is a beautiful place.
Mr. Mayor, God bless you. We'll see you tonight at the flag thing.
All right, 5:15, we will be down at the Common, and the rabbi will be raising the Israeli flag, the flag of Israel, at 5:15. And if you have a chance and you want to stop by, please do. And but right now, so Rick Votor and I discussed a little bit about doing a segment on our show. And basically, I really don't talk about it. And heard some great stories. Rick and I will talk about, some of the things that he finds in people's files here at the Veterans Center. And we're like, we never heard these stories. We never. And so I said, Rick, we gotta get these veterans in here. And even if they talk about it just once, then it's recorded forever, right? And anyway, we were chatting about Frank Ardinger, who's also a city councilor here, and I was saying to Rick Votor, I said, imagine these guys that were like served in a submarine. Now I've been up to, and Frank's our guest. Frank, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So I've been up. This is full disclosure. I was up at that retired submarine up there in Portsmouth.
Albacore, yeah.
And I get the willies. I get panic-stricken just being inside.
Yeah.
Let alone like under the water.
Well, it's interesting because you go through a very arduous process to qualify for submarine service.
Right. The last thing they want is put somebody down here who freaks out, right?
Oh yeah. You go through psychological testing and they test you for claustrophobia and stuff like that. But ultimately you're in a 300-foot long tube that's 32 feet wide, and that's your environment for whatever time you're out there. And once you're underwater, you don't know it. I mean, you're cruising along. You could be on the surface, you could be under the water. It doesn't
I know,
make any
but
difference,
I would know I was underwater. I can't just say, hey, let me out over here. I got to stop and get something.
Yeah, no.
How old were you?
I went into the service as 18. I was probably 21 when I went on to my first submarine.
And you
so
volunteered for it?
You have to volunteer for it. It's
And you thought that was interesting?
yeah. And the interesting thing, I didn't know it at the time, but the interesting thing is that the day the Thresher went down is the same day I volunteered for the
Really?
service. Yes,
So
1963.
You volunteered first, then it went down.
No, I found out about it afterwards.
Oh,
You know, so
but it was in motion.
yeah.
Wow.
It was interesting. Yeah.
How many people are on a submarine like the one you were
Roughly
on?
about 100.
100
Yeah,
people?
Yeah, 100 people, yeah.
All with different specialties?
Different
and-
specialties, yeah. I was an electronics technician with the reactor operators code, so I maintained the electrical equipment for the reactor operator, or the reactor, and also operated the nuclear power plants, so that was my job. It was, I hate to say it, there's nothing exciting. It's not like a combat veteran that can talk about all the adventures they had, because the submarine service is the silent service. It's a deterrent. It just sits out there, and if something happens, we have to attack it.
Right.
But the bottom line is, when you're operating that plant, you're just, it's like you're using a big boiler is what it is. All the reactor does is heat the steam to run the turbines.
Right.
So it's pretty central.
But still,
it's,
how many days are you down there?
well, you can go down for very long. They could go down indefinitely. The only thing that prohibits a submarine from staying down indefinitely is the food for the crew.
Right.
That's what they have to carry. The longest I was down was probably about 2.5, 3 months.
Months?
Months, yeah.
2.5 to 3 months?
Yeah, we
Underwater?
Underwater. We made a transit up underneath the North Pole, underneath the Arctic ice, and we surfaced on April 6, 1969. At the North Pole. I wish I'd have brought the picture so I could have got shown.
We'll have you
people.
on again, believe me.
Huh?
So that's a long time. I thought it was weeks.
Well, most of our trips, because the type of ship I was on, or the
Right.
boat I was on, our trips were very short. We went out, we were on patrol, standing off like the coast, or maybe going up to the North Atlantic, but just listening for traffic, other submarines and stuff like that. If you're on a ballistic missile submarine, they have a 3-month cycle. They're in port for 3 months and they're out for 3 months. So they're sitting out there stationary, pretty much stationary, for 3 months just in case something happens. And then you talk about a deterrent. Can you think about 30 nuclear missiles with 10 warheads each, one of them sitting out there off the coast of whoever your adversary is?
No.
Yeah. And, we look at, you're talking about Israel.
Yeah.
Everybody sees the surface ships that are going on that carrier task force over there. I'll guarantee you there's probably 2 or 3 submarines underneath
I'm
there
sure.
that nobody ever sees about. Yeah, that's
Are they undetectable?
pretty much.
Yeah.
I tell you, the
Unless you bump into one, right?
yeah, no, the acoustics that sound devices or sound ending devices are really very good, and they're getting better all the time.
Right.
And we have had an advantage for years over the Russian submarines, and the fact that they were fairly noisy. We could find them a lot easier than they could find us. But it was always interesting.
What are you doing? So you're down there all that time. I know there's work.
Yeah.
And every day there's I guess testing and calibrating but what do you do? It's 5, 6 o'clock at night. Most people go home from work.
You're basically you're on 4 hours on, 8 hours off watches. And in between the watches, you'll have lunch. Sometimes we have in the cruise mess, they play cards or stuff like that, cribbage, etc. Read books, watch movies.
Right,
They have all, every night is a movie night. So you go on watch, you stand your watch for 4 hours, you sleep for 4 or 5 hours, maybe you go play cards for a while, then you go back on watch. That's about it. I hate to say it, but it's a very boring routine, but it's exciting at the same time.
Right. I mean, this is a big responsibility if you're ever called upon.
Well, the nice thing about being on a submarine versus a civilian nuclear power plant is that we got to play with a nuclear power plant. We got to run tests on it and drills and stuff like that. So that was always interesting. We had something that we could do instead of always just sitting there watching a bunch of gauges.
Right. And did you ever detect anything? I mean, did you ever have to?
I really don't know, because I was in the back end of the submarine,
Right.
and all that stuff is up front. But
So you're not sure what they might have seen, and then activated someone else.
Yeah, and we went to battle stations a couple times, but you don't know why. It could have been a
Right.
drill. But like I say, it's not a as glamorous as fighting on the
No,
ground.
but it's certainly
but
interesting.
It's a very unique service. The submarine is considered to be the elite fleet of the Navy,
Right.
because you go through basically 3 years of school before you can even go on board one. Then you have to qualify where you get your dolphins, which is the insignia that you have learned all the major components on that boat, so that if there's an emergency, no matter where you are, or regardless of where you are, you can take action and be a help in averting
Right.
mitigating the emergency. You know,
But we don't have time to train you.
You don't have time for
No.
having people stand around, you know. So, you know, but it was always interesting. You know, like I say, I
That's
think
phenomenal.
it was.
I always wanted to talk to somebody who was actually on a submarine.
Yeah. No, it's when you go down to the albacore, it's probably about the same size as the boat I was on, you know, and you walk through. It's cramped.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
When you sleep, your berths are 3 high and about 36 inches between you and the guy next above you. So it's but we had a laundry facility. We had showers all the time. We made our own fresh water. We made our own oxygen. We brought seawater in and refined it to generate oxygen. So we had fresh water. And you talked earlier about smoking. In the lobby, I was talking about people smoking. The biggest contaminant on board the submarines back in the time I was there was cigarette smoke.
I bet.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But everybody smoked. It was one of those crazy things. But,
right.
Yeah, but we had a system in the one of the compartments called an oxygen generator. It took fresh seawater and through a process of electrolysis, came out with fresh air, fresh water, or fresh air. And
that was technology in the 60s.
That was in the 60s. Now it's a lot more,
Right.
And the same thing with the water. Our water came from the ocean. They
Desalinated
it, and we had fresh water. So we were in good shape. I mean, people think it's kind of cramped and boring and dingy and dull.
That's why you got to be a special profile, right? I mean, you just can't say, "Hey, I want to go on a submarine." You've got to say that I'm interested, and then I'm sure a lot of people never make it to that level.
Every school you go through on your path to getting on board the submarine, it's a pass or fail type of a school. If you fail, you go to the general fleet, and who knows what you'll be doing. So you always have that pressure that you've always got to make sure you pass every school. And again, you go to your trade school, nuclear power school, submarine school, a prototype where we actually operate the reactor and train. So 3 years you're training for this job. That's why.
It's like being an astronaut, only underground.
Underground, but you have to be in for 6. You have to enlist for at least 6 years in order to qualify. Because they
3 years of it at school.
3 years of it in school,
You're watching Inside Leominster. Frank Ardinger is my guest, and he's also city council. But today we're talking about his tour in the service, and he served on a submarine. And I don't know, what about you guys back there? You think you could go on a submarine? I don't know. I bet you it's 1 out of 1,000 people. Look, everybody's shaking their head like, no way, no way.
I feel like I'd enjoy it, but I don't know if I would ever do it.
Yeah.
Well, because you like to read and do stuff. And now, you must have made friends. I mean, you're in a close quarters like that. You must have made friends that you still stay in touch with.
Yeah. Throughout the years, we've stayed in touch with quite a few of them. I have one very close friend. Unfortunately, he's got dementia up in New Hampshire now. He stayed in for his 20 years and made it to senior master chief. I got out at after 8 years, primarily because of family, because I had 3 children, and and they were going on a med cruise, which would have been out for 3 months, and it was it was time to get out. One of those things. But it is a very interesting life, and you develop friendships. I don't know how to put it. There is no such thing as a race or religion or anything like that on a submarine.
You just get along.
You have to get along with everybody on there, and if
that's how they must profile everybody. Part of your psychological evaluation is got to point out whether or not you can actually do this.
Right. Yeah. And some of the most interesting discussions I had was with a chief from South Carolina, and he was a political nut, and so yes, you may know I'm kind of a political nut. He was we chatted back and forth for years, and even after he got out of the service, he actually went into politics. It wasn't Jimmy Carter, by the way, but he went into politics in
Georgia?
Georgia,
Yeah.
in Georgia, yeah.
Wow.
So,
Interesting.
but it's funny, we had one guy that was very, very good with the camera, and some of his photos that he took of us on different things are treasured in my album.
Yeah.
So you do build lifelong friendships.
Yeah.
You have to.
978-534-1626. Caller, hello.
Hey, Dino.
Hey, Crystal, how are you?
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Crystal. How are you?
Doing good. I found out that Mark had COVID.
Who has COVID?
Mark has COVID.
Oh, poor guy. Well, he's around people. Everybody's getting sick again.
He's back to normal, though.
You know what? You're inside, around a lot of people, and it's going to make its way around again,
Yeah,
you know?
stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll tell your buddy Marcus hello.
All right, please do. Tell him I was asking for him.
Take care, Frank.
You too, Crystal.
978-534-1626. Just a couple of minutes left. Talking to Frank Ardinger about being on a submarine.
Mm-hmm.
And where were you stationed? Where was your home base?
Home base was Charleston, South Carolina.
Charleston.
Yeah, but primarily, yeah.
And the sophistication then. I mean, we're talking today. We know it's endless, the technology.
Yeah.
We're talking. You guys were exposed to technology that we didn't see for another 20 years.
Well, not so. Actually, the Navy was kind of behind on
Really?
technology. We still actually had transistors on board when I was on.
Wow.
But I got sidetracked. I went to visit a Virginia-class submarine down in Groton a few years ago. And, you see all these submarine movies with the big wheels and stuff. Well, it's all joysticks now. Yeah, everything is computer
Tied
controlled.
to GPS and controlled through satellites and.
Well, back when we had a ship's inertial navigation system, which was it plotted your starting point, it knew your speed, your direction, and stuff like that. So we knew pretty much where we were every minute of the day through that system. And if that system ever broke down, we were probably in deep sneakers, to be honest with you.
But you must have had great communication. I mean, you could actually talk from miles down in the ocean.
Not miles, no.
Well, we didn't have that capabilities,
No, we had radio trailing wire antenna that they used to come up close to the surface and put it out, and we could talk to the shore stations with that.
Right.
The radioman could, I could not.
Right. Just an interesting life. And not many that do it. But like you said, I think the interesting thing is that it takes a lot of training to go down. It takes years of training before you can even get on a submarine.
And I can claim one thing that very few people can. I stood at the North Pole.
That's right.
That's right. Very few people have that experience.
That is.
Yeah. So.
Well, thank you, Frank, for coming on.
Thank you, sir.
We're trying to get other veterans to come on and be our guest, and there's some really interesting stories out there, and we just got to get to them.
Yeah.
And
you should come over to our coffee and cards on Tuesday morning.
Well, I'm sure that happens pretty frequently.
Yeah.
But will they sit here and let me chat with them? That's the difference, right?
I'll plug it for you.
All
believe
right.
me, okay.
All right. We're going to take a short break. Thank you, Frank, for your service, and thank you for your service on the City Council. Election coming up very soon, only weeks away, right? What, 3 weeks away, are we?
Just about that.
Yeah, 3 weeks away.
We're prepared.
All right. We'll taking a short break. We'll be right back.
A lot of field to work with. Blue Devils there. Kavanaugh play it in with an attacking chance down the center. And the far shot deflected back. Blue Devils still, and that'll be a goal for the Blue Devils. And I believe, could not quite make out who that was. I'll start to work it the other way. Islanders dancing with the ball, and the shot saved with the game. Chance here to tie it up, down 1-0. All but one defender in the fray here for Doherty. keeping it herself. Shot saved again. That played short, centered in. A lot of bodies in there. That shot scores! And Doherty tie it back up with 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And this is a new ball game. Everyone back to the Blue Devils now. Good pressure there, still with it. And the strike, saved by Cudahy before a goal, and it's in for Doherty, and they have come from behind to lead this one 2-1 with 6:49 to go.
No matter what, they've got an incredible team this year. So Doherty ended up beating him 2-1, but don't you worry, that team comes back. Hey, you want to do we want to put up our slides now? Yeah. Let's chat. All right, let's put up our slides. What's the first one? What are we seeing here? All right, hang on, everybody. New segments in our Inside Leominster show. So what's popping, as it said? Look, she's all smiles back there. She's very proud of herself. All right, what's popping at LTV? Generation.
Residential Gen Zer.
Is that what it is? Residential Gen Zers. Okay, here's what's, are these the top songs in the Billboard Top 10? There we go. Paint the Town Red is number 1. Snooze is number 2. Taylor Swift can come out with anything right now. She's got a movie coming out. The critics are saying it's one of the worst things to ever be produced, and yet she's sold like $1 billion worth of tickets. Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift is at number 3. But that just came out, didn't it? Yeah, it just came. So it's probably going to be number 1 tomorrow afternoon. And what is it? Fast Car? Fast Car.
That's the cover of the Tracy
Luke Combs and 3D. We should have a little soundbite of each one. We can play a couple. Before you get kicked off, you can play about 30 seconds of this stuff. Remembering Everything, last night is number 7. And Funkerman is number 8, and Vampire is number 9, and number 10 is Calm Down. But you need and that's the top 10 right now in the United States by Billboard magazine. Do you guys want to look back 10 years ago or 20 years ago to see what was the top 10 today? All right, you can look. We can look, and then. All right, what am I looking at? I'm looking at.
Do you know who these people are?
I don't know who these people are.
You want to guess?
No. Who are they? Jay-Z. No, I don't know. Who are these people?
Go to your next slide.
All right, go to the next slide. This is Ice Spice. Yep. What's his name there? What's the guy, the blonde-headed guy? Bad Bunny. But what's the blonde-headed guy's name there? Shotgun or what's it? Machine Gun Kelly or something? What's his name? No, I'm just saying. And it's Cesar. Is that how you say her name? Cesar? Yeah. And then Weekend. This is Weekend. In case everybody's sitting home and wants to know who Bad Bunny is, there he is, second from the left. And it's Ice Spice.
He was in that Brad Pitt movie last year, Bullet Train.
Oh, yeah? Bullet Train. All right. And upcoming releases, The Killers of the Flower Moon. Schwarzenegger. Yeah. And Priscilla is coming out November 3rd. The Marvels is coming out. That's supposed to be a big movie, coming out November 10th. And The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and Napoleon. I bet you that's going to be a big movie, Napoleon. It's rated R. That's why it's going to be a big movie. That's coming out November 22nd. So when everybody's heading, they're looking for something to do for Thanksgiving. They'll be like, hey, let's go see Napoleon. Just the name of it sounds exciting. But here we go. All right, pop culture. What are we going to see? I see you got the clock in front there. What's it say?
We have your picture.
No, but you've got the clock in the way. So I can't see pop culture, and then you've got the clock.
Pop culture moments of 2023.
All right, popular moments of 2023 so far this year. In April, Fox News fires Tucker Carlson. And I don't know, he's making as much money as he's ever made, right? Al Pacino expects this is cool stuff. The guy's like 90, he's going to have a baby. with his 30-year-old girlfriend. Do you realize, how old is he, like 80?
He's 76.
All right, so he's almost 80, and he's going to have a kid. Jeez. June was, what is it? That's submersible implodes.
The Titan.
No, the Titan, the submersible implodes and kills all 5 people aboard. So that was strange. Don't you find that to be a strange story? That anybody in this entire world would jump on that the ship or whatever it was? Remember, that was such a big deal. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Then I found out they paid to get on it. Don't you guys find that bizarre?
I find it bizarre that Titanic and Titan have very similar names.
Yeah, well, that was the whole point of it. They jinxed themselves. But to think that 5 people would pay to get on this thing that wasn't safe enough to be in a wheelbarrow ride around your grandfather's garden, and these people actually paid to get on this thing. Yikes, that scares me. All right, in July, the big story was Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas announced the divorce. Why is that significant? Why, were they like a big power couple or something? Were you shocked about it when you got up in the morning? Were you freaked out? Like, oh my God, I don't know if I can function for the day. You were crying? No, you weren't crying. No, okay. Was it a big deal? I remember it got like a minute's worth of attention on page 6 in the New York Post or something. And TMZ talked about it for about 40 seconds. All right, in August, the big story in 2023, pop culture, was Barbie. Now, this is news. Uh-oh, Mia's left her seat. No, what? Look, now she's handing notes.
All right, so
Barbie, $1.2 billion, and making it the second highest grossing movie of 2023. Barbie.
2013, those were the top.
2013, all right, let's see. Uptown Funk, Party Rock Anthem, Shape of You Closer, Girls Like You, We Found Love on a One-Way Street, Old Town Road, and Somebody That, what?
I used to know.
Huh?
Somebody I used to know.
Oh, Somebody I Used to Know. So that was 2013? So 10 years ago. That was it.
Yeah. 2 weeks before that, Taylor Swift had another #1.
Taylor Swift is, look at August. Barbie. Taylor Swift and Barbie literally had an impact on the stock market. Do you realize that? They grossed a couple of $2 billion between the two of them. That's unimaginable. I mean, the days when Michael Jackson would come out with music or the Beatles would come out with something or Elvis was news. This is when the business TV stations like Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal are writing articles about it. Barbie earned $1.2 billion. Had I thought, why didn't we think of that? No, seriously, why didn't we? There are no good movies. There are no good movies for kids to go see. So if we just thought, like, let's get Barbie, everyone will want to go see Barbie. Did you go see Barbie, Mia? And what do you think? What do you give it? 1 to 10? No, but it's the experience of going. Did you wear pink? She gives it a 6. Did you dress up and all that? No. But it was like a whole thing. Like friends went with friends. You know, I didn't go, but I mean, I know people that went. It was like this big deal, and people dressed up in pink. It gave something. It gave some people get something to get excited about. Barbie did $1.2 billion, making it the highest grossing movie of 2023. Why? Who else has got a $1.2 billion movie? Anybody else? Mario. But that went on for like 30 years. Mario's like ready for retirement now. Mario's been around. Mario was around when my kids are around. And they're 40 years old. He's ready for retirement, Mario. Look, he's looking at me back there going, what? And then it's September. Who is it? Coco Gauff wins the United States Open for her first Grand Slam at age 19. How much did she get out of that deal there? She grossed a lot, right? Like a lot of money. She's famous now, right, at 19. If she can keep it up and not do crazy things like partying and getting drunk and all that, she could really be, and that's the problem is people don't know how to handle fame, right? Like Mia knows how to handle fame back there. She's got people that help her like a life coach. So that, all right, what's next? Anything else? Did we cover it all? Are you more hip than a teenager? The word of the day is Riz. What does Riz mean?
Do you know what it is?
No. I hear people. What does it mean? Like cool? Riz?
Charisma.
Charisma? Oh, that's right. You got the Riz. He's got the Riz. It's similar to charisma. It refers to somebody who has the ability to charm a potential romantic partner easily. Like fireworks and stars and there's another word for Riz. Yes. Magic. Almost like magic, right? You know, when you're through talking to somebody like that, it's like twinkle, a little twinkle there. So Riz, kids, right? Riz means charisma and somebody who has the ability to charm potential romance. And that's it. There you go. That was good. Thank you for doing that. I like that. Some of that I knew, and some of it I'm close. I don't have time. I don't have time to stay in touch with what's going on in the world. You know what I mean? I just don't, because I'm reading things like, you know, National Grid, connecting and caring with, meet with a customer advocate at City Hall. They're going to be there on November 8th if you want to stop by. And they're going to discuss options to help you manage your electric bill and help you find assistance, including discount rates, payment plans, budget billings, and arrears management programs. So you haven't paid, you don't want them to shut you off, you want to call and say, let me work out a deal. No appointment is necessary. You can come to City Hall from 11 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon on November the 8th. Hey, that was good. We got to find out what is going on, how you can be hip to the star, right? A hip star, hipster. Fall Foliage Walk is coming up next week, October 9th. It's a week from today, and it's at 4 o'clock in the afternoon till 5:30. When's daylight savings time? Isn't it like the 8th or something? It's coming up soon. And it'll be pitch dark at about 5 o'clock. November 5th. Bask in the brilliance of autumn leaf colors and learn a little bit about why plants put on their annual show. And again, you can meet at... what did I say? Is it at Barrett? Yeah, Barrett Park. It's an easy 1 mile loop. And you can register if you want. 978-502-2577 is coming up on the 19th next Thursday. And if you don't have your copy, every month we put out It's Happening in Leominster. It's a newsletter, but you can get it electronically by going to our website, which is leominster-ma.gov. And you can also go to Facebook page. And it's City of Leominster, MA. Hey, listen, let's see if we can find a hotel in Tel Aviv. It's about midnight there right now. 1 a.m. See if somebody answers the phone. Maybe we can talk and see what's going on out there. That's unthinkable. Unthinkable. If what is being said and reported off of TV 24, which is what I listen to. I listen to the audio. I don't watch TV 24. But I listen to it, and TV 24 is kind of the master channel out there in Tel Aviv. And if what they're reporting, if half of it is true, like, why would you have to take an 88-year-old lady and take her hostage? Like, what benefit could that be? What innocent people from a concert? I don't understand this. Anyway, we're going to do our part this afternoon at 5:15. If you're watching this on Thursday night, it is the 12th day of October, and the rabbi will be raising the flag on the common. And 5:15 if you can make it. We've got about 12 minutes left here to Inside Leominster. I want to remind you that if you want to know what's happening at the library, talk about hipster. Public library. It's always got something going on in that public library. It's amazing. And let's see, preschool yoga tomorrow with Miss Jamie at 9:30. So bring the kiddos down. And then tween art class, black cat and fall foliage canvas painting with art educator Jen Niles. And that's going to be at 2:15 in the afternoon on Saturday. And speaking of Saturday, we lost one of our members of the conservation of the Historic Commission, Chet Carter, And Chet was just a wonderful man, very active in the community, but on our historic commission. And we could talk for hours about the history of Leominster. And he actually worked at Leominster hardware store, and he knew everything and everybody in town. And it was almost like a conversation with Chet. He could actually take you back to the point you thought you were back in that time, in that period. And Chet passed away. He has Richardson Funeral Home, I believe, a 1 o'clock service, and 11 o'clock to 1 or whatever it is. You can check it. Go to the website, Richardson Funeral Home, to get the details. And then also at the Senior Center, they put out this like 10-page newsletter every month, and it's remarkable. So stop down, get a copy at City Hall. You can get it through or at the Senior Center. I know people think, well, I got to be old to go to the Senior Center. Oh no, it is very opposite that. There's nothing old about the people that go to the Senior Center. They're busy people. That's what they are. And they are North Central Massachusetts. So there are two guides going at the same time. One is fall, and the other one's sort of winter of 2023, 24. And they both are up to date on what's happening in and around not only Leominster, but all around the area. And still more going on. So you might want to grab your fall guide, and then the winter guide is there. We don't have any slides today, do we? Okay, we don't. Wendy was out with FEMA, and she's been preparing for some time now. But I can tell you that yard waste is started on Monday, goes to December 1st. We do pick up mattresses, although we don't always pick them up on the day of trash pickup. So you may have to leave it out there. After a couple days, if you don't see it picked up, by all means, let the health department know. They have a separate truck, separate driver. They have to be handled separately. You cannot. It's one of the things that I don't know if the state was thinking about it. I understand that much of what's in a mattress is recyclable, and it's big, and they want to pull that out of the waste stream. High accolades for that. However, when people put them out in the street, and the wind blows, they lean them against the telephone poles, and then imagine somebody come in on a Saturday, they haven't picked up the mattresses yet, or they come in on somebody coming in for business or to visit, and this is what they see, a mattress like laying on the ground in front of somebody's house. It just, anyway, it is a banned product from the solid waste program, and it does take them a couple of days. But if you don't see them, pick it up in a couple of days. But if a trash pickup is a Friday, and then they don't pick it up on Friday, then it's going to sit there all weekend. Right? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, FEMA was out here today. It's National Be Nice Day, National Depression Screening Day, National Do Something Nice Day, National Get Funky Day, National Rhode Island Day, and World Teachers Day. So there you go. We're going to take a short break. Are you guys ready for a short break back there? I need to take a drink. I've been talking all day. I've canceled my karaoke appearances indefinitely because, you know, I just can't get to them all. And so I just put everybody on notice until I get my voice back completely. I'm not going to be able to do it. Short break, everybody. Then we're going to come back and wrap it up here at Inside Leominster. We're back here. Rudolph Isley from the Isley brothers passed away. He was 84 years old. Rudolph Isley from the Isley brothers. And AP is reporting that Palestinians are rushing to buy food, searching for shelter as strikes continue. Let's see what else. House no closer to speaker vote as GOP undercuts its own nominee. And this is amazing, that 2 seconds after they pick the Powerball winner, they can tell you where the ticket was sold. It is amazing. You call anybody else for anything, and they're like, yeah, we don't know. We'll have to check into it. And they know right away. Like, they knew that somebody from Kern County, 75 miles north of Los Angeles, they knew this 1 second after the Powerball. Like, they know where everybody is. They know that somebody, let's see, 700, a lump sum payment will give you $775 million before taxes. Unbelievable. 5 officers shot and wounded in Minnesota confrontation. Florida tornado damages homes, businesses, and cars on both coasts. Air quality has been horrible this year, and not just due to wildfires. And jury deliberations continue in the trial of 2 Colorado officers charged in the Elijah McClain's death. And that's what's happening. And then coming in from NBC Boston is FEMA to assess Leominster's flood aftermath as storm recovery drags on. So that's going to be the stories. Confused and lost, Leominster residents still. So after the initial flood, and it's only normal that now the news will be people are getting anxious, they're waiting, and that's to be expected. That's why we moved so quickly in getting as much that we could control restored in the city. So people may say, well, why are you working on this property and not that property? Properties that we have easements through allow us to go on and call them as public projects. So if there's a drain line that goes through somebody's property and it has an easement with the city and it's recorded at the Registry of Deeds, it allows us to go on and to apply for federal funds on the public side, a public project side. We actually started on Mechanic Street today, fixing that issue there because it's down to 1 lane. And then they found a major electrical line going through the area that needs to be repaired. So obviously backed off from that, and they're going to have to either move the line or work around the line. But for now, they've stopped construction until we can deal with this. But yes, you probably see on the news tonight, FEMA was out here. This is the beginning of the assessment of actually getting out here and looking at the assessing the damage, categorizing the damage, adding up the damage, and then it's that amount that is added up that goes to see whether or not we qualify for disaster relief and exactly what pot. So there are 3 different silos, so to speak. 1 is public infrastructure, 2 is business, small business. They were here as well today, SBA. And then the individual assessment of damage done to people's properties or homes. And that is how the system works. It also means that if you qualify, if the city qualifies for disaster relief in all 3 categories, which is unusual, but possible, at that time it allows residents to maybe not get a grant if they don't qualify, but maybe a loan from SBA. So just because it's small business doesn't mean it's just small business. But we don't know. So I don't want anybody to run off thinking that this is some sort of information that I'm giving you that nobody else has. It is part of the process. It's a very lengthy process. We're hoping to give you a better idea of what lengthy means. But we're moving as fast as we possibly can. Believe us, we've seen the damage. We've been out there. It's horrifying. There's nothing worse than losing everything, having raw sewage coming into your home, all of that. There is nothing worse than that. And people who thought, I could put things in my basement. I've never had any water in my basement. Got flooded out. So the assessment teams from FEMA and MEMA and city agencies and as well as city engineers and private engineers will be working together. They were in 3 different teams today, spread out across the city, and that will continue tomorrow. Just a minute left. Want to remind you that we do, and I say do, have the tractor parade. Do you have a tractor at home? Come on down. Tractor parade is at 10 o'clock in the morning on the 14th, and that's a Saturday, and it looks like good weather all of a sudden. It looks like rain, but I'm like, hey, we're going to do it anyway. But it looks like good weather, and if you've got a tractor, meet us about 9:45 behind C&M Pizza. We'll line you up. Then we have a tractor parade that goes through downtown. Last year was amazing. We had so many tractors, and then we park them all in the common, and kids can come by and take pictures and climb on them and press the horn and all that fun stuff. But speaking of fun stuff, we're out of time here at Inside Leominster. Off to the Common for 5:15, where we will raise the flag of Israel. That's it here from the whole cast and crew here from Inside Leominster. We'll have more Generation ZXL to the 2nd to the 4th next week. But we're out of time. Thanks for watching. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. You need to show up. Good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisinsuranceagency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank, create success, enterprisebanking.com.
This is LTV.